So is the Bitcoin price about to explode upwards? Well, I wanted to draw your attention to this halving tracker bot. It's built by Bitstein, and it tracks the Bitcoin halving cycle and it compares it to the previous halvings. And so as of today, or yesterday, I guess, we are 390 days after the halving, 389, 390 days after the halving. And if you compare that to the recent cycles, we're currently at about 104,000. I think we're down a little bit since this was published, but no big deal. So we're at, say, 100,000 just to round it off. If you scaled up the 2012 halving at this point, after the halving, however many days this is, almost 400 days after the halving, in 2012, we'd be at over 3 million. At the 2016, 400 days after the halving, we'd be over 260,000. 2020 scaled, we'd be at 262,000. So this is interesting. So if you assume that the cycles will decrease in amounts each cycle, it's kind of interesting to look and see that these two are still paired pretty closely there, just the variance, I suppose. And if you look at the actual tracker down here, it looks like we've got the 2012 lined up here at the top. We've got 2016, which is in lighter blue, and we have 2020, which is in, or no, 2016 is in green, and 2020 is in blue, and we're over here in black. And so at this point in the cycle, we're on this line here, and it looks to me like at this point, the 2012 cycle had already peaked. We look at the 2016 cycle, it hasn't peaked yet. And we look at the 2020 cycle, I believe the 2020 cycle had already hit one of its peaks. Yeah, so the 2020 cycle had already hit one of its peaks at this point and was working up towards the second peak. So that's a lot of scribbles. Sorry about that. But to simplify it, if we're basing it off of the first bull run, we've already peaked. If we're basing it off of the 2016 bull run, we haven't peaked yet. And if we're basing it off of the 2020 bull run, let's see. Oh, so we're right here. So yeah, I guess if we're basing it off the 2020 bull run, we still have some room to run because we didn't peak until there. So, I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen. But to me, it looks like we've still got some room to run here. If we follow the peaking of the last two cycles, we would peak out here somewhere around here. So, maybe somewhere in here, somewhere in the 500-day range. So we're in the 400-day range. And if we assume that we're in the 400-day range right here and we're going to peak out somewhere around the 500-day range to be on par with these two cycles, then yeah, I mean, I guess we've got about 100 days left of this bull run, assuming this all plays out. Nobody knows, obviously. Obviously, nobody knows, but it's kind of interesting to look at. So 100 days, that'd be 3 months from now. So that would put us, what, in February or May, June, July, August, August, September area, something like that. So, I mean, September, is that what's going to happen? Are we going to kind of go like that and then kind of just explode up in September? I don't know. Nobody knows. I just think this halving tracker is kind of fascinating. And to look back at the previous cycles. And it's super interesting that these two peaks line up so well. Of course, in 2020, we had like one peak and then had that crash. Then we went up and just beat it. And so the second peak is lined up pretty nicely here with the 2016 run. So what are your guesses? What do you think is going to happen? Personally, I'm trying to hold until August, September, just to see what happens. I mean, it'd be a pretty disappointing cycle if we already peaked. I mean, if 109 or whatever it was back here was the peak, that would be pretty disappointing for me. Couldn't really complain that much because, I mean, that would be not quite a 2x over the last peak, which is still a decent return. But if Bitcoin's going to Bitcoin, I think we're going up. So, yeah, anyway, if you want to check out this halving tracker, I believe it's on Noster as well. So you can do that, and they tweet and send posts and keep this updated. So fairly interesting. I know most Bitcoiners will tell you that they don't want the price to go up so that they can accumulate more, but I think that's nonsense. I think they're liars. Everybody wants the rocket ship. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.